Historical views on law enforcement ethics. Historically, the foundations of law enforcement ethics trace back to ancient philosophical traditions. Greek philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle extensively deliberated on ethical virtues required for those holding public office and power. Socrates emphasized integrity and truthfulness as essential virtues, arguing that leaders must exemplify ethical conduct to ensure societal stability and justice. Aristotle expanded these ideals, stressing that ethical behavior in governance involves fairness, moderation, and accountability, virtues which directly parallel contemporary law enforcement expectations. In Roman times, the philosopher Cicero furthered these ethical imperatives, articulating the importance of law and justice grounded in truth and ethical consistency. Cicero argued that ethical public service requires an unwavering commitment to truthfulness and justice, presaging principles that remain central to modern law enforcement ethics. During the medieval period, the integration of religious morality into legal and civic duties significantly shaped ethical expectations. The principle of just conduct, driven by Christian moral teachings, imposed a heightened ethical standard for those tasked with upholding the law. The blending of secular governance and religious morality provided a robust framework for ethical policing, establishing enduring principles of honesty and integrity. The Enlightenment era saw philosophical advancements emphasizing rational governance and ethical accountability. Thinkers such as Immanuel Kant articulated a duty-based approach to ethics, positing that individuals holding positions of authority have an absolute moral obligation to act transparently and truthfully, not simply because it was beneficial, but because it was inherently right. This Kantian duty ethic profoundly influenced the evolution of law enforcement ethics by prioritizing moral integrity and unwavering truthfulness. Ethical duties and moral obligations. Ethical duties and moral obligations in contemporary law enforcement encompass multiple dimensions, driven by explicit codes of conduct, statutory requirements, and community expectations. These ethical frameworks require law enforcement officers to maintain an uncompromising adherence to honesty, fairness, accountability, and transparency in their professional roles. One central ethical duty involves impartiality in enforcing laws, requiring officers to administer justice equally without bias or discrimination. Impartiality ensures the equitable application of justice, reinforcing public confidence and upholding democratic ideals. Officers are morally obligated to act objectively, resisting personal prejudices or external pressures that might compromise ethical judgment. Another significant moral obligation is the duty of integrity, necessitating that officers consistently align their actions with moral and ethical standards, regardless of oversight or potential consequences. Integrity extends beyond mere compliance with rules, demanding proactive ethical engagement and continuous personal reflection on ethical dilemmas and challenges faced in law enforcement roles. Moreover, transparency emerges as a critical ethical duty. Officers are expected to be forthright in their interactions, providing full disclosure in investigations, reports, and courtroom testimonies. Ethical transparency serves as a safeguard against corruption, misconduct, and abuses of power, thereby enhancing institutional legitimacy and fostering public trust. Additionally, officers bear the ethical obligation to protect human rights and dignity. Upholding rights such as due process, freedom from unwarranted harm, and respect for personal autonomy is paramount. This ethical commitment demands vigilance against abuse of authority and proactive measures to ensure individuals' rights are respected in all enforcement actions. Societal expectations and public trust. Societal expectations significantly influence law enforcement ethics, as communities depend heavily on the perceived legitimacy and fairness of policing institutions. The public expects law enforcement officers to uphold the highest standards of ethical behavior, reflecting community values and ensuring equitable justice. Public trust is arguably the most crucial currency in effective law enforcement. Trust enables cooperation between communities and police, essential for crime prevention, investigation, and overall public safety. When officers act ethically, transparently, and fairly, Community members are more likely to support and collaborate with law enforcement efforts. Conversely, ethical breaches significantly erode public trust, undermining law enforcement effectiveness and creating barriers to community police cooperation. The rise of community policing initiatives exemplifies efforts to align law enforcement practices more closely with community expectations. Community policing promotes active engagement between officers and citizens, enhancing mutual understanding, responsiveness to local concerns, and ethical accountability. By prioritizing transparency, open dialogue, and ethical practice, community policing models reinforce societal expectations, fostering sustainable public trust and cooperation. Moreover, heightened public scrutiny, facilitated by technological advancements and widespread media coverage, has raised societal expectations for police transparency and accountability. Communities increasingly demand comprehensive ethical standards and demonstrable adherence to these standards in everyday policing activities. Public demands for accountability have spurred significant reforms, including the widespread adoption of body-worn cameras and independent oversight mechanisms designed to ensure ethical conduct. In summary, societal expectations play a pivotal role in shaping ethical standards in law enforcement. Public trust hinges critically upon officers' consistent adherence to high ethical standards, transparency in action, and fairness in enforcement. Upholding these ethical imperatives remains essential not only for effective law enforcement, but also for maintaining the broader democratic principles upon which justice and societal harmony depend. I am a dedicated author and researcher specializing in the intricate nexus of technology, law, and government. My extensive body of work includes a diverse array of books, scholarly articles, and policy papers that delve into the evolving challenges and opportunities presented by technological advancements within legal and governmental contexts. Through rigorous analysis and insightful exploration, I examine how emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data privacy, and blockchain shape and are shaped by legislative frameworks, regulatory practices, and public policy initiatives. My publications aim to bridge the gap between technical innovation and legal governance, providing comprehensive resources for policymakers, legal professionals, technologists, and academics alike. By addressing critical issues like digital rights, cyber law, technology-driven governance, and the ethical implications of technological integration, my work contributes to the development of informed and adaptive legal systems capable of responding to rapid technological change. I am committed to fostering a deeper understanding of how technology influences governmental operations and legal standards, and vice versa, thereby promoting the creation of robust, equitable, and forward-thinking policies. In addition to my writing, I actively engage with government agencies, legal institutions, and technology firms to offer expertise and collaborate on initiatives that ensure the responsible and effective implementation of technology in public spheres. My dedication to exploring and elucidating the intersections of technology, law, and government underscores my commitment to advancing knowledge and facilitating informed decision-making in an increasingly digitalized world.